What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games BS, brought to you by Den Media Group, presented by thehumidor.com and ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. With this hookup and this connection, please type in the Godfather code if you're buying boxes. GODFATHER in all caps when you go there. And also just for your summertime, this Memorial Day is coming up this weekend. I know you're going to drink. I know you're going to hang out with friends. Always be celebrating. No better place to go than the ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Go check them out. Get you some good beverages, some ice cold Bud Light, all that kind of. No, excuse me. No, we don't drink Bud Light anymore, right? That's what the Bud Light got the fairy juice in it, apparently. But did I tell you the story about what happened at the lacrosse banquet?
In the Coast Guard there, all capital.
Yeah, all capital. So that, and just before I go into that, that's we're inside of Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. That's the code that we use. So you want to be a big timer, you want to be able to get your cigars for the same rate that top level cigar lounges get. Right there, we're giving you, man. That's about as cheap as we can get you, man. Damn, we getting fancy right there, Mom. Let's see that. Just popped it up on there. The Godfather code. That's next level shit right there. You might as well go ahead and put the whole at Big Game James _36. But all right, so that's enough for the advertising part. We'll get to the real advertising too. Had somebody talk to me about Dr. G. I asked them what exactly they need to go see Dr. G for Alpha Male, but I'm gonna keep that private, man. It's like HIPAA violations almost. But like, go get you if you need to extend your D, go see Dr. G. Nothing wrong with that. But hell, I might get if I get rich enough and I just be like, and I'm just got some money just burning a hole in my pocket, but I don't like needles, so that's the real part. But we'll get into that a little bit later in the show, break up some of the monotony. But so last week we had our lacrosse banquet Wednesday, and we have a coach there. I'm not going to name his name, but he's a young coach. He's trying to fit in with a bunch of us guys who are older. Even my guy Matt Rambos, I think Rambo's starting to get close to 30. Most of us are just, so we just give him a hard time. First year coaching. He goes and says, he brings us a bunch of beers because this is what rich white. Now let me tell you, this house was immaculate. And it wasn't as good as the house we had it last year, but it was still that good. That's crazy, right? So the first house we had at if you're a golf fan and you know who Jim Furyk is, his son played lacrosse for Bowles last year. I coached him. Okay. Jim Furyk. So the funniest exchange was I texted Denny. I'm like, Denny, man, isn't Furyk like the name of like some golfer or something? And he was like, James, not some golfer. Like, he's top 15 all-time earnings in the PGA Tour history. So like, I give the one, like, so again, one of the best golfers to ever golf. House immaculate. He has the infinity pool that overlooks into the St. Johns River. So like, you're just sitting there. I'm talking about houses. Is this all us? People already commenting like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez. All right. People, like when I'm saying like these people's houses can hold 200, 300 people. Yeah. But they're in San Marco, so it's like, or like in the, the historic area. So it's like very little driveway space, but the homes are huge. So we have it over the Surface's house. The Surface's house is amazing. It's immaculate. I don't know what Mr. Surface does. I don't think he's top 15 all-time PGA. But his house was nice. He had like a damn near a Miami football field sized backyard, indoor practice facility. So it was nice, but the problem is if you miss the balls and stuff. But like rich people don't really subscribe to the things that everyday people do. All we heard about was, you can't drink Bud Light is for the queers. We can't do this. This is bad. The motherfuckers had Bud Light, Coors Light, Mick Ultra, all of this stuff. Like the rich people. So I'm saying it was bought already. Because I always tell people, for me to really boycott something that I truly enjoy to partake in, I have to find out that you're like that company's founders owned both sides of my family. Like all of us when we were in slavery. And I still might not boycott it. I am never boycotting Hennessy or Remy. You can put an AI generated transgender on a commercial with the KKK. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm still going to get me not old fashioned, a French connection. I'm still going to get me Remy straight. We'll give me a gentleman's cube maybe. But so we're going out there, the young men, but they had water, wine, beer, and lemonade for the kids. Those were our only drink options for food. So the water ran out. So what we did was we went to you gotta go to the beer. It's all light beer. None of that stuff is good. The guy brings it. And Coors Light's cool because Coors Light, when it's reached maximum coldness, it's a little blue, like the little mountains are blue.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. I learned something. That's kind of interesting. But the boy went and brought all this stuff. He brought we had Modelo. He didn't bring me the Modelos, so the Modelos were drank. The Bud Light, then he had Bud Light, Coors, and Mick Ultra. He cracks open the Bud Light. He drinks it. He's being refreshed. It's doing what it does. Like what do women say? It's giving what it gives. And he's just like, so I'm gonna take this, and he's just like, I'm like, oh, you over there? You drinking queer juice? He's like, huh? What? I said, you ever heard about Bud Light? He's like, like you can't. That's the thing. You can't drink that because if you drink that, you become one of the LGBTQ2VCYs. And he was like, I didn't know. I said, man. I said, boy, if you don't stop that shit and drink that goddamn Bud Light, man, it was good to you, man. Stop. Don't let nobody influence you. And so I'm talking to him like a man now. Like, boy, if you don't stop letting little stupid shit influence you and like make yours. I was like, I didn't know you're not supposed to drink this. I said, bro, I was just joking with you. I was like, I didn't mean anything by it. I said, bro, you are not going to be gay. You're not going to catch the gay by drinking a Bud Light. And if you were, it's already in you because you were refreshed. Nothing wrong with that. But it was just a funny thought with, again, really rich people don't give a fuck about a lot of this. That might be the theme of today's show. But anyways, if you're really rich, I need your help. 4th annual book bag drive. We're trying to get 3,600 book bags, $36 a book bag. We shut down the whole hood. One of my favorite times of year. It's how I celebrate my birthday. Coming back, we will have book bags given out. You don't have to give. I'm not gonna guilt anybody into giving, but it is a cool event. It happens every year. You get a chance to where your money goes. This is the one in Tallahassee that's if you're watching on the YouTube channel, this is what's pictured or videoed here. We're doing it in Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Orlando. We're giving book bags in Atlanta, and I think we're trying to get Sarasota. If you want to give money, money sign MFTK36 on Cash App. We've had a couple of people do that. MFTK Foundation on Venmo, had a few people do that. If you want to PayPal so you can get your receipt, MFTK Foundation at gmail.com for your PayPal, or you can write your checks to the MFTK Foundation. It's all tax deductible, 501c3. If you need a receipt, hit me up. We'll give it. The goal is to give 3,600 book bags. You do the math. 3,600 times 36 is a lot, but we're going to push it. We're going to make it happen. If you have a business, we'd love to partner with your business. Great way. And if you're a member of the 3-6 Mafia level or higher, each month your membership basically purchases a book bag for the kids. So we're gonna get to that I'm gonna get to that $3,600 level. So that's why people ask me over the summer, like, do you have time? Are you stressed? Are you this? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm stressed. Like, I just put $130,000, $140,000 to raise on my head for no reason because I was bored. On top of the other shit that I do during the week. So, but again, really cool thing. And so if you don't want to put your money up, which is dope, I don't have no problems with you. I ain't got no quarrels with you if you don't want to do that. It could just help if you just subscribe to the channel. Get more people watching it, help share, do those things. If you don't want to pay the stuff, let other people pay. YouTube got a really good thing going on right now. So, but we want to get to 3,000. Once we get to 3,000, we'll give away $300. I would really like to be at 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year and 100 members. Look at the membership perks right now. It's kind of dead a little bit. It's going to start spicing up a little bit more in the summer as I do shit. And get my all-in members. If y'all want a hat, if y'all want some stuff, y'all gotta let me know because you get free. You do get some free swag once we have it. So we have the tailgates coming up. We have all kinds of different ways for people to support. But again, a big thing would be to that I would appreciate is like book bag drive donations and things of that nature. And likes. Again, if we get to 50 likes, I will eventually figure out how to give people fucking memberships. Don't know how to do that right now. But it's gonna come. And if you become an all-in member, you get a chance to come hang out with me. You get a membership to Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. We have Tuesday nights, it's ladies' night. We have multiple ladies' nights. I'm up here on Tuesday all day. So that's my new hanging out spot. But Wednesdays, starting this Wednesday, Miracles. I think that's how you say it. It's close enough. Miracles? Whatever. Wednesdays. It's Latin night here. If you want to come out here, get your salsa on, your bachata. Funny story about salsa and bachata. When I was in church, when I was in college, I was part of this church. And the girl said we couldn't go to the club because the club promoted debauchery and sexual perversion and things of that nature, right? But we can go to the salsa dances. That's how I learned how to salsa was when I was in college. I don't know if you guys realize. I don't. It just goes to the purpose of some. Like I'm with it. Some people have to get away from certain things, but just because they're saying the stuff in a different language doesn't mean it's not debaucherous. Salsa is very sexual. It's also a very misogynistic dance. It's a lot of things in life. You know what? They say. You know who has to lead in salsa and who will mess up the salsa? The woman can mess up a salsa by not following the male's lead. Someone has to lead. And if you're trying to lead while you're supposed to be following, it messes up the dance. Bachata is also a very, very, very sexual dance. And merengue, do all these different things. I'm telling you, fellas, if you ain't got no game, this is where you need to be at.
Alex X asked, sorry, is there a website I could buy a book bag at? Just asking because I don't have cash app or PayPal.
Oh, if you go if you don't have to have it. If you go to mftkfoundation.com, look for donate. It's going to take you to PayPal, but you don't have to have PayPal. It will basically set it up for you. You can go to mftkfoundation.com. It'll do all of those different things for you. I think James Coleman Gives Back.com is also another one of the websites. So I think that's the housekeeping stuff. Got enough of that out the way. Oh, we still got a few more things. But what I did this weekend, and I'm going to speak on this because they deserve a platform. And I always tell people, even with my book bag drives, no coverage, very little coverage outside of the mediums that I'm on. I know my guy, George with Renegade Report, go follow him. I know my guy, Chris with Sporadics. I know everybody's going to do what they need to do, but I already know for a fact that War Chant isn't going to do anything for it. I know that 247 Sports isn't going to do anything for it. I don't mind that. I do know this, though. If I punt my kid, because he got an F or a C, right? My kids ain't getting no Fs. But if I punt Trey for getting a C, you know where I'm going to be at? I'm going to be all on War Chant. I'm going to be on 247. I'm going to be on ESPN for being a bad dude. And these guys are going to be like, see, we told you big game wasn't shit. And that's cool for me. An active player and players give their time to give back to their community. You should be all over there. I went to Savannah with Trey to go do a football camp with Kalen DeLoach. Rob DeLoach is a great friend of mine. That's Kalen's dad. But there were like 20 kids from Savannah that are all in college that came back home to do a very well-run football camp, a little 7-on-7 tourney. At the end of it, my son had a blast. Everybody's tired. I literally just woke up. It was hot as hell in Savannah. And what's crazy is it's hotter in Tallahassee. But my son was like like fully serious. Like if you look at this at the end, he actually cracks a smile because he told me I was embarrassing him.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
I was trying to take pictures and doing all the shit that like I don't get a chance to be a dad. Like I always coach. So when I get a chance, and it was just so I don't know how y'all view your kids, right? I know most of the time people say, "Oh my God, he dressed up like a Power Ranger. He's so cute," or it was so cute to see him compete. Like he was over there talking trash, and I just wanted to go over him and I just wanted to pinch his cheeks. Like you're so cute. Look at you out there, dude. And I know that would have embarrassed him more. But it's different. Like we're different in my family. Like when he got in his first fight, he thought he was going to get in trouble, and the only thing I asked was, did he win?
10-10 will be the first one if he gets that.
Oh, 10-10 would be like, this is why we didn't call this motherfucker back. We hoped he died. That's why we sent the flowers. I told the story on Bobby's podcast. Like, I haven't heard from anybody in 10-10. Like, I wonder if my code still works. But this is him. I went and got him some. I had to, like I said, you want some glasses so you can wear and look cool and shit. And this is him with his glasses, man. My boy was just. Look at him. That's just mean mugging. Mind you, he's not the tallest kid in the world. He's also not a midget. He just look over here. That he was told me I was embarrassed. But like he actually did a really, really good job. Galen, those guys, they did a phenomenal job. If you're in Atlanta, check out the factory. That's what you're gonna go there. Learn a lot about it. They got a lady running from there. Well, when I tell you that she got some yams, she got my vote because of the yams. She was the Amazon, man. She was out there. She helped sponsor it. I like that too. The community got behind it. It was an awesome event. Rob Deloach, just again, everybody talks about Ja Morant, right? I should play this. This was Trey. So Trey right now is the second person from our camera. So two people over. He's in the middle. He's basically covering the slot. But I just want you to watch the technique. Nobody coached him to do this. This is him just learning on the fly. I liked it. He got beat with a double move. The quarterback didn't see it. He said, I'm not going to get beat by the double move again. No more. Just watch the feet work. Boom, boom, right up. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Kid was shut down. You got to make the quarterback go to a second read after that. But that was cool. Again, these guys are out here sacrificing their time. You don't like the Ja Morants of the world. You don't want kids acting like thugs. It's all about attention. Get these just the attention that they need. Not my jits. The guys who are out here coaching it, because it was a bunch of D1 guys coaching it, some top talent. It made me mad at Florida State. Why were you mad at Florida State? Because goddamn, it is some cats in Savannah. It's some 8th graders in Savannah that look like juniors in high school right now that we need to be on. I don't know what they feeding them kids, but we're going to get there. But sometimes it does, but not really. Like Tallahassee, like when I came up in Tallahassee, it was like a golden age in sports. Like we just had a lot of guys go major D1. Like it was just like stuff comes in waves. I think what's happening with Georgia right now, Georgia's always been good, but people don't really equate this. But if you think about what happened with Katrina, Louisiana was also a hotbed. A lot of people had to leave New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and they came to Georgia, Carolinas, and some came to Florida, or like especially the Panhandle part of Florida. So you got some talent that would not normally be there, right with you. And now it's just growing and developing it. But it's really about your crew and who you're with, how active you are, how much you go out and compete, and genetics. I mean, if you're a male and you're one of these rappers, and you're 5'6", your baby mama's 5'4", your kid's not coming. If your kid comes out 6'2", I got news for you. You don't need Maury Povich. You don't need Jerry Springer out the rest of the day. Bro, that's not your kid. Yeah, but I think but I do think nutrition, how you eat, that's what they're doing. So a lot of the kids are with the factory. I think training, mentality, has a lot to do with stuff. And like a lot of times people, like I think I let Trey be a kid, but I also tell him when we compete, we compete. It's a mentality. You don't, if it don't bite, if you're not competing at a young age, it typically doesn't just cut on later on in life. It's one of those things that you are. And that's what was so cute. His team lost. And he was open a couple of times and he was like, he wouldn't throw. I was like, oh my God, I just want to just I love it. I love it. Because if it don't bite as a puppy, it ain't gonna bite when it's a dog. So that's what I want people to realize. Somebody just hooked it up right now. You either get a book bag or some pizza. I'm just joking. Please, guys, don't take that. Please don't take that and run with it. I do not spend any of that money on anything but what it's supposed to, because them checks is real checks. And ain't nobody just giving away shit. But I want to say that to those guys. I think we got some of the pictures with Rob and them. I think I put one of those yeah. Well, never mind. We just go on to the next thing. Another part of, I want to give my guy Matt props. This is what I naturally do. I'm a very cynical person in certain aspects. I think the only people who get love are children, women, and dogs. Even cats don't get the love that everybody else deserves. But my guy Matt, how I met him was he followed me. It was FSU Twitter, and our kids. So Trey played soccer and they did swim lessons at the same place. So we're sitting there, and I think he asked me about Taggart or something. And he was like, yeah, you don't know who I am, but I follow you. And I'm like, well, and when people say stuff like that, I get mad. Because you're right. I don't know who you are. But if you're cool, I might put the follow on you. But I don't follow a lot of people, because some of y'all post shit about your cats and a lot of random shit. I need to know about sports and what's going on. So I follow what gives me the stuff. But like, if it's a good follow and I'm gonna be around you, man, I'll follow you, I'll support you. And they were talking, and he went through a divorce. So he got the all-in package with Big Game before it was there. And I just gave him some, hey man, some encouragement over lemon pepper wet wings. And I had to tell him, I was like, man, you're a heterosexual male that makes a lot of money. Got a good heart, though. Phenomenal heart. And he learned firsthand what it's like. He dated a triple minority. So a woman already gives you like a minority. She was half black, half Korean.
Oh, wow.
Man, he got a doozy on that. And so he has a black daughter, basically. And he learned black women. Hey, I love my sisters. Y'all hard to deal with, man. I'm sorry. Like, it's just the truth. I don't think y'all realize how tough it is to deal with y'all on some of these levels, especially when you haven't grown up with. So he's an authentic white. So he's coming into this shit with some doozies. And the mom was Korean, so the Korean woman got a black daughter, don't even know what to do with the black daughter. But anyway, so my point is he had a bad marriage. This is the first one. And then he found love, and it was awesome. It was beautiful. The lady has 5 daughters. He has a daughter. He's with 7 women in the house. Don't know how the fuck he's going to do that, but he was fly. If you like that suit, that's my boy Lathan. And me, I'm wearing Lathan apparel. He's wearing Lathan apparel. He's laced. He's good. Congratulations. It was a dope ass wedding. I've never been to Volano Beach. Volano Beach is dope. The breeze was cool. It was also dope. So congratulations to Matt. And mark your calendars. The last announcement on Friday. I've never been truly interviewed before, so I don't know how this is going to go. It might be the most boring Florida State alumni interview that they've done on their spaces, but every Friday, Chris Seymour Stacks, my God, you ever met somebody and you thought they were short? But they're you thought they were tall, but then you find out that they're really, really short. So the guy to the far right, Pete the Greek is his name. I just thought that picture okay, Pete's probably normal size. But then I met him at the spring game. Pete's short. Yeah. Great guy though. Dope guy. And then we got George. They're going to interview me. Have no idea what it's going to be like. That's Seymour. He's not really a little black boy. I think that's one of his children or something like that. But it could be the worst. Could be worse. You can ask me about anything. So if you got questions that you want to ask me, As long as they're not about my personal life, for the most part, I'll answer them. But nobody's literally ever and I've never really walked through my entire story about how I played at Florida State. And just sometimes it's like random stories pop in and out. So
speaking on memberships, is there anything more for out of state members, not a member currently, but was thinking of joining? I guess there's the tailgates.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah. So one, I need you to ask that question on YouTube. I'm gonna answer because you asked about being a membership. But Facebook, it's not your fault. I know it's comfortable, but Zuckerberg don't fuck with us like that. Like everything is on YouTube. YouTube helps. But we can tailor some stuff to you, man. I know it's difficult. If you're an FSU fan, if you're a Jags fan, if you're something like that, we'll make sure we hook you up with some stuff, man. But like you can get some swag, I think at the 36 Mafia level or higher. What's going on with that? But like I said, I don't really know. Just gotta inbox me. You can inbox me on Facebook though, because there ain't no inbox on YouTube. But you can inbox me on Facebook, and we'll talk about some stuff that we can do. But yeah, we do give away a lot of stuff though. We will end up doing like Chris is like the motivation behind that. Chris got like action figures and gift cards and like all kinds of cool shit. Like I was mad as fuck about that. The one of the cards he gave. I actually wanted to, like, I'm a member now, Chris. Like you gotta hook me up. But market calendars, yeah, the tailgate is definitely though. If nothing else, the all-in membership, getting access to the tailgate is big. And so just check that out. But most importantly, we got to get you off of the Book of Faces and watching this on YouTube. I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna go with this. Do we play too rough sometimes? I'm one of those guys who does get into this is why I don't troll, because when I get to trolling, I get to trolling big time. And I troll more like Rick Ross, but then I'm looking at this and I'm like, maybe Rick Ross took it too far. Rick Ross and DJ Envy are both doing car shows. DJ Envy, they asked Rick Ross on the podcast, is DJ Envy, what's your car show compared to DJ Envy's? And he said, DJ Envy's not even on my level, which is true. And Envy, but what happened was Charlemagne poked the bear even more. And he said, but you're not on his level. What makes you think you're on his level? And then it's gone to, Envy being very beige and light skinned and poking fun. And then Rick Ross basically saying, hey, I'm like, since you work for people, why don't you come over here and I need you to come to my car show so you can see how it's done. And I need you to wax my marble floors. He's like, and then he doesn't even acknowledge his wife. He said, I'm gonna let your little girlfriend, she can go steam my steps, but I'm saving these marble floors for you. And then he goes to his pool and just all these different things. And it becomes a flex. I think I did it on accident. I wasn't really trying to flex. I really want that guy's money. I don't remember his name, but I think I have a $500 bet for the LSU game. I wanted with the Miami fan, if that makes any sense. And I told him, I was like, the $500 bet doesn't do anything for me. Like, and I learned Michael Jordan's the same way like that too. Like, I need something to get my blood boiling. Like, let's bet a grand. I didn't even go for his whole salary. I just said, let's bet $1,000. And he still didn't want to do that. But then I asked, I was like, why am I betting the LSU game with a Miami fan? Like, why don't you bet the Miami game? Like, since y'all back and you so secure in it, but we all know the truth of that. Like, they're gonna get their asses whooped. I told the Miami OC that. So I can't wait. I can't wait to whoop y'all ass in Tallahassee. And if you're a Miami fan and you come to the tailgate, what's fucked up is you're gonna pay $60. You're going to eat very, very good. You're going to drink very, very good. And you're going to get put into your grave because we're going to beat y'all to sleep. Can't wait for it. I'm about to start talking real shit. But in all of this, sometimes We play too much, and we worry. It shifts our focus off of what's real. And I'm bringing this up too before we get into sports. I'm going to talk about women here in a second. A lot of people, in their attempt to troll and be right, end up focusing on things that aren't important. So, like the Ja Morant thing, the gun isn't the issue with the Ja Morant thing. It's the throwing up gang signs that's an issue with the Ja Morant thing. But with the gang sign stuff, gangsters have to admit, you've kind of watered that shit down. Same thing with you intellectual gangsters and your the Divine Nine, the AKAs, Omegas and stuff. Y'all be making these movies like not bringing on, what's the shit? Like the Step Into the Oldies or whatever the fuck movies y'all be having, and they be fucking up your culture. Fat Joe talked about this almost 20 years ago and Lean Back. Even Lil Bow Wow throwing it up. B2K Crip walking like that's what's up. Like, if you don't want people like just like I see kids do like slime, that's a game. Like I just saw a kid in high school in Tallahassee where we ain't got none of that shit like that. He did that. Like he did like the signs and stuff like that. Those things like are considered gang signs. So why we mad at y'all? Y'all need to be, if y'all gonna hold people accountable, hold people accountable. I don't toss up shit because I remember how that stuff was when I was coming up. But it because I just saw this. You just go to the next one. Might as well. Don't worry about Rick Ross, even though it's out of pocket. I was reminded a year, because it's amazing how time flies, right? So a year ago, FAMU had their graduation. A young lady, very thick young lady, who's also a rapper, graduated with her master's degree. It's like psychology or something. Wanted to go in the mental health field. So she posed in front of a new Rattler statue that doesn't say no trespassing, and she was asked out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I told people, and this is what I ask old people, just like with the Ja Morant thing, I'm like, what legally did they do wrong? And you know what they never can tell you? What they legally did wrong. They can tell you from a quote unquote from their moral compass. And I'm like, nobody gives a shit. Ja Morant's job is to dribble the basketball. Nobody gives a shit. We see thick bitches on the internet all the time with the girl from FAMU. I was like, y'all talking about this is making this a bigger deal. So what happened? Thick white bitch decides that she wants to do the same thing. Actually, Miles, click on that one, because the one on the right is not a problem. That's cool. Is this one? I'm first and foremost, I'm amazed at the athleticism. It's pretty good. She's thick. Is this what they call? Is it Pog or something like that? Like I thought when I first heard Pog, I thought it was like one. There used to be this game called Pogs, like the little round things that you could get in like kids. I never got into it, but like you could just slam them down. So when somebody was like, "I got some Pogs," I'm like, "Oh shit." I ain't never played this game. My mom wouldn't buy me no Pogs when I was a kid. And then I came in the room, I'm like, oh. If somebody in the comments can tell me exactly what, I just know, I think it was Pretty Ass White Girl. That's what it is. But anyways, I'm impressed by this. We never heard about this because I'm going to give my Pilgrim counterparts the props. This is just another day in Pilgrimhood. Fat ass. Okay, fat ass. She's definitely a Pog. It's like fat, like not like PHAT. Okay, all right, cool. So like, nobody cares about this. If you like women, if you're a heterosexual male, you see something, you like it. The school didn't come at her. They didn't do this. She walked in her graduation. She got her degree. She didn't do these things. And again, she's making money off of this. I think she has an OnlyFans. And like somebody was like, well, there goes any job opportunity she has. I'm like, bro, you don't understand America. If you don't understand that America likes a winner. If she's good at her job, she can be a stripper. She can be all these different things. In fact, being in the industry pseudo has made me have a better appreciation for strippers. If you're just stripping at the local strip club, like, and that's just your thing, and you just need, okay, yeah, you're a loser. But have you been to these real nice strip clubs? This is like upper echelon. That is basically the pros.
Yeah.
And, you know, and now you're seeing women do OnlyFans now and stuff like that. I wouldn't do that because that's canonized. I think a lot of you are going to realize that you made a mistake when you have kids and your kids' coaches is seeing you slapping a phallus on your face. But if you're a stripper, you can kind of get away with. You can get away with that after a while. Like only people who know you would know that you did these things. But like if you've seen some of these high-end strippers, man, they making bank. They making a lot. They making more than what you perceive lawyers to make. And I'm cool. Like if that's your goal, is to make it to the KODs, to make it to the G5s, to make it to those big ones, then I'm gonna support you. But if your goal is just to stay local, then I'm like, well, damn, it's get some drive.
I personally know they're making a lot of things, but they have terrible spending.
Now that happens. There's also a lot of drugs that happen in those things, and you play with your nose, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose a lot. But how did y'all celebrate? That's the question today. How did you celebrate your graduation? I didn't, I can't do those. I don't think I've ever been able to make that pose. Like the way that people are celebrating their graduations now, I feel like I was just really lame. I just took pictures and just went to football. I had football practice that morning, and then we went to graduate. I think. Okay, what's up?
I enjoyed that $200 FYI. Oh, that was from our winner, Jeffrey Bell. How do I become a member, bro?
You have to go on. You have to go look. You have to watch this from either your iPad or your laptop, and then when you go to my page, the Did Media Group page, there should be like a membership thing or a membership icon. Actually, if you look at it, if you're watching this on your iPad or your laptop, there should be something that like you have your subscribe. They'll tell you that you're subscribed, and it should be something that says membership or members, and then like you click on it, and then you can go in there and do your thing, man. But I also appreciate Jeffrey. Somebody put like I don't even know Jeff. Somebody put like, yeah, sure, one of your friends, Jeff. I was like, shit, that's actually, I wasn't even thinking that. I should have just gave it to one of my friends and they could have slid me, hey, if I guarantee you win, slide me 50% of this back and you keep the 100, I keep, but I want people who I don't know to win because the genius in it is Jeff can go tell other people, hey man, this idiot just gave me $200. Y'all need to come watch this show. And we can, yeah. But that would be the question. How did y'all celebrate your graduations? At least most of y'all graduated high school. So you can use your high school if you didn't graduate college. But if FSU is, again, a lot of the talks for conference realignment, basically, FSU is going to the Big Ten or the SEC. Some of the schools that are going to get left behind, a little mad that, they're saying that this is all a ploy. This is a front. Mike Alford is doing that slick shit that them good Pilgrim lawyers can do. Like you can talk, like he making moves behind the scenes, but he's talking to him like, hey man, I want us to work. I want this to work. But low key, he's like, I already know if this shit doesn't work, we out of here. But my guy Broomy one, not Broomy one. Make sure I said his name right because I just clicked on it.
Oh, I don't know. A Broomy one.
Yeah, it was Broomy one. Okay. Great follow on Twitter. Like him, good guy. Up there in Atlanta. After why, and this is why a lot of FSU fans are mad. FSU is not just a football school. FSU is a soccer school. FSU is a softball school. Our women's sports, our track and field, a lot of those things are like dope. So we really we legit sell out softball. Yeah, and so what happened though was because of rain, they had to move a lot of the games and they had to cancel stuff because Tallahassee, from now until October, it's gonna rain and you don't have any you have no idea when it's coming. It's just coming. So they had a doubleheader. They lost the first one, got our ass whooped 0-4 by the South Carolina. Came back. Sandra Cobb. They have some of the best names. Our softball girls, they just we had what was the catcher that we had when we won the Natty a few years ago that was just thick as she was a pog. She was just as thick, and then people get mad. We have fine ass softball girls that can play, and then there's something about women doing athletic or physical shit that is already attractive. But then when they look good, it doesn't hurt. And then like there was a picture of them, like they keep taking these pics. Don't blame us, blame the photographer. To stop blaming men for being men. The photographer took a picture of them while they were doing the national anthem from behind.
Oh.
And the strength and conditioning coach for FSU softball is a legend. That man or woman, whoever it is, has those girls with amazing glute to hamstring ratio. There is separation between their glutes and their hamstrings, and it looks like some of them have a shelf. And God bless that. We like our softball, bottom line. That's what we're saying. After watching ESPN relegate our softball regional games to ESPN Plus all weekend, I'm convinced more than ever that ESPN is part of the problem with the ACC. Big Me, which is basically Big Ten me. Joining the SEC only makes ESPN bigger problem. We need out both the ACC and the ESPN. And nobody hates ESPN more than FSU fans because they've been really rude to us over the years. They don't fuck with us, so fuck them. Let's go fuck with ABC and not ABC, but CBS. I want to make people in the South mad because most of us growing up, CBS was the known channel for the SEC. So they grew up just eating their oatmeal and their grits, watching SEC football on there. Now we'll be on that bitch. I love it. But moving forward, I don't necessarily, I want to be there because I also want to be there so that we can regulate God's judgment. Okay. So the SEC is, we know, like, don't, guys, listen, I love who you are. I'll meet you where you're at. The South is racist. It's okay. It is what it is. We know. It's cool. I know it's out front racism so I can know what to avoid. I appreciate that. But Yankee racism bothers me. Yeah. Because Yankee racism is hidden and it's microaggressions and it's passive aggressive. And I think we need a Southern team to come up there and whoop some Yankees ass and show them the exact way that why you should not be racist if you want to have a good football team. So why do you say that, James? What brings you to that? The University of Michigan just hired a coach that they just had to fire. Everybody tells kids, watch your social media. Old heads say you shouldn't post this. Coaches get on here and say, I saw a kid and I was thinking about recruiting him. But then he cursed in rap lyrics. And I was mad. And I no longer recruited him. Knowing that that's bullshit. I got a kid right now, Jamie French, that will post Boosie on the background of his highlight film. And every one of y'all, that nobody is going to drop a scholarship offer to him. Matter of fact, if you go to your coach and to the head coach and you say, I couldn't recruit this kid, he was cursing, you're going to get fired. Like, if that was the difference, if the kid comes and say, Coach, I was coming to you, but the other guy said he was mad at me because I cursed a little bit. Hey, man, that motherfucker going to fire you so quick. Because nobody, like, the locker room is a safe place. The locker room isn't racist because when you're battling with somebody, you're bleeding with somebody, it's hard to be racist. But this coach right here, I'm not saying, to quote, I hate quoting him now because he definitely drinks Bud Light. Andrew Gillum, when he was running against Ron DeSantis, he said, I'm not saying he's racist. But he talked about people who endorsed him that were known racists and things like that. He said, but racists think he's racist. So I'm not saying that this coach at Michigan is racist. But when you follow the likes, and if you remember, the likes will show you who a person really is. So what do you mean by that, James? Remember the Keon Coleman when I told you the Ole Miss guys were saying it was a money thing, but we went and looked at his likes. Y'all remember what his likes look like? It's a lot of women and a lot of chocolatey women in that bad boy. And I want old people to realize, I had to tell one of my parents this when I was training. Like, yo, we can see your likes, bro. You over here liking porn on Twitter at 10 a.m. It's entirely too early for you to be this horny. But it's entirely, you got to watch, especially if you're a coach. So this is what the coach from Michigan liked. You should practice reading comprehension. And yes, slavery and Jim Crow forced the black family to strive and create businesses and cultivate a basis of wealth for themselves and their progeny. A reliance on handouts weakened their lower income black community and still does. weaken the lower income black community still does. He is basically liking a tweet that was for Jim Crow. Not equality. I don't know. Jim Crow was for Jim Crow and slavery and saying, hey, black people were better when there were rules basically handicapping them. I'm not 1,000% sure, but when you get paid off the backs of blacks, you probably shouldn't like that kind of shit. Just my thoughts. So what else did he like? Hakeem, if you believe we are better off now, you better get off whatever you're smoking and get into rehab. Okay, whatever. Somebody said. And this is from Representative Jeffries, who should be bombed too. Another nonsensical tweet from the leader of the House minority. The tribe has spoken. And it's a bunch of black people, skinny tribesmen. Like, I wouldn't like that tweet. It's just me. I wouldn't like that tweet as a black man that's coaching black kids. I wouldn't like that tweet as a white man. But those are just some, a smidget. Just a smidget. He's he went and this is when you know you caught, and this is what you're supposed to do before you get the job, right? He went and unliked over 1,000 tweets that were similar to this. I can't call him racist because I don't know. But what I'm saying is, man, bro, they're making an argument against you, bro. Well, too late. Now you have, and I always ask when people do certain things, was it worth it? Because this is how it ended. Let me read this, see if I can find this one more. Yeah, he was hired 3 days ago. Michigan's assistant director of football recruiting. So a guy who's going to have to talk to black people on a daily basis. Unlike 1,000 tweets since he was hired 3 days ago, probably should have done that when you were on the job search. Just a little free game by Big Game. But what did Michigan's athletic director, Ward Van? Oh, I ain't even gonna say that because I don't want to sound bad. And Jim Harbaugh on the resignation because they allowed him to resign. Effective this afternoon. It's such a dope name, Shimmy Schembechler. Shimmy has resigned his position with Michigan football. We are aware of some comments and likes on social media that have caused concern and pain for individuals in our community. Michigan Athletics is fully committed to a place where our coaches, staff, and student athletes feel welcome and where we fully support the university athletic department's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. He put that DEI. Oh my goodness, Ron DeSantis is livid. He hates DEI. But it just goes to show you, like, when people say it's not like that, like every day, we have to stop saying it's not like. One of the things that can help us be more free as a country is just admitting when it happens, when it's there. There's nothing wrong with admitting this is there. I'm going to be honest with you. This is me, black man talking. I don't represent all black men, but this is me, black man talking. I fight for his right to be able to like and do whatever he wants. I am all about First Amendment. The First Amendment does not absolve you from accountability. And I think that's where the real issue lies. Like, I'm cool. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. I try to do it as much as I can. Just don't come crying when you lose a six-figure job because you were racist. Was it worth it? Like, to me, like, football is not, it's a tough job because it's stressful because you have to bring people, but you're also in a sport. It's fun. It's a fun job. Like I tell people, my job is tough, but it's fun. Was it worth it? Like, was it really worth losing that kind of job to be racist? I don't think so. I wouldn't want to do it. But you know what? Those same people would say, John Morant makes $200 million. He shouldn't be going around there listening to NBA YoungBoy, flashing guns. Shimmy is at least mid-20s, almost 30s. Shimmy probably 30-something years old. Shimmy just lost a six-figure job because Shimmy couldn't control what he liked on social media. If Shimmy can't do it, I for sure don't expect other people to do it. It happens every day in our culture. And he wasn't, and then people are in there, this is the woke agenda. I need my whites to stop using the word woke like that. That's not what woke mean. Y'all have created woke and made woke mean something different. Woke is just meaning you're aware. We are all woke at a certain point. That doesn't necessarily mean that like I'm aware of that there are consonants in this world. Don't mean I want to be one. Don't mean I understand them. It just means I want them to be all they can be. I'm not saying like this was not a woke agenda that got this guy fired. This was stupidity. If I know, like you could probably make those comments for Michigan hockey and be okay. I'm not suggesting that Michigan hockey is racist. I'm just saying you could probably make those comments. Ain't very many black people in hockey. But when your team is that, with all the good players on your team are, well, most of the good players on your team, because their quarterback's white, but most of the good players on your team just so happen to be black, you probably shouldn't try to make those guys mad. You're going to have a hard time getting more of those. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to recognize, you got to, what they call, you got to read the room, right? Read in the room. At first, I talked about this young lady. It was a young lady that she got cut. This is the other, on the other email I sent you, boss, with the tweet. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very ignorant when it comes to the WNBA. I know the NBA has, what I believe, is it 28 teams the NBA has? I believe they have 28 teams. I didn't think the WNBA had that many, but I thought they had like 20 at least, right? The WNBA and women have been spouting, like, especially when we trade, because we traded. I can't believe I said it. This is gold. I should have got ripped by this for this one too. I put when we got Brittany Griner back, I put we traded a big for a shooter. Like, cause like, we gave them one of the most diabolical war criminals of all time for a big for a center. But I was listening. They need to pay women more. They need to do this. There's only 12 spots on the basketball roster. There's only 12 teams in the WNBA. There literally is no market for women's basketball. You have to go to overseas, even if they paid you more money. And it really drove the fact home this morning when I was driving over here. That's why I wasn't on our initial sheet. But I was like, this needs to be talked about because women are doing what women do. You give us these arguments and you take these stances, but you don't give us the full information on the argument sometimes.
That's a lot.
Basically, if our girls got paid more, they wouldn't go overseas. There are 144 jobs, ma'am. And you're having a draft. Like, this is why male sports get it took a while. But you see how rabid college is. You draft the best player from your college to an NFL team. Now you want to watch them be successful moving forward, right? So like what happens is over years you develop these things. This is not a sustainable model because this is what happened. Let me tell you about the WNBA. Here, the top 30 draft picks have been waived before the season. Like the season just started. They've already been waived. Abby Myers, LaDasia Williams, Alina whatever. I can't say your name. I'm not going to mess it up. Alexis Morris, Bree Bill, Monica, Destiny Harden. You mean to tell me that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of your top 30 players didn't even make a roster? Like, yo. Like, imagine the NFL right now. If you had to cut, if most of the first and second round picks got cut before the NFL season. And now the girl who made a comment last week was saying it's time for some of you old women to go ahead and move on. I can let some of us young people come in. And then I go in and I click on the tweet. It was at Just W Sports, Just Women's Sports. And I gave them a follow because I want to know more about stuff like this. And these girls are pretty. Some of these girls are pretty, man. And when we look at the popularity of what just happened with the women's basketball tournament, like you probably should be making room for some of these new ones or just expand. Alexis Morris was just on LSU's first national championship winning basketball team. This is for colleges. She made the statement. This is for colleges and institutions. In order to grow the league, you have to prep the players for what's to come. In order to do that, you have to watch the league. You have to see the style of play, the systems that they're running, so that the adjustments and the transition for college players, women college players to the WNBA won't be as difficult. I'm not saying that it's difficult for everybody, but I do think that the style of play that you play in college can either help or hurt you when you're transitioning to college. And she has a point, but when we haven't made that the draw, right? It's 144 players. Like the goal of the reason why, and then I saw somebody put in the tweets that that's not the purpose of college, just to prepare you for like bull fucking shit. You go to college so that you can go pro. You're not pro in life too, but you go to the best schools. So I bet you, like what Calipari at Kentucky State's, I'm preparing you to get to the NBA to get paid. That's why he has you there. That's why he does what he does. If a college coach comes and tells me, man, I'm not preparing your son to go to the NFL, then goddamn it, we're not going to that school. You can get a degree anywhere. Like, and it shouldn't be me up here saying this. I am, because I actually did like the product that was put on the court during the women's basketball. I watched more women's basketball tournament games than I did men's. But you know who drives male sports? Women. I say it all the time, and then people say you're misogynist for it, but like y'all really control your own destiny way more than us. Women buy the jerseys and buy the apparel that fuels the NFL and the NBA. They're the ones who are sitting there watching it. So like if you're watching this and then we see some pretty girls on there, like a lot of us will come in and join you. But you have to demand more. And then we'll come and support you. But like this tweet right here, it was like we could make 4 teams just off the wave draftees from the last 3 years. And it's true. So right now you don't have a place to go. You don't get paid equitably. So it's not going to change until you change. But I would love nothing more than to especially if I can get if I know I can get damn, I just forgot her name. It'll come to me. The girl from LSU, Angel Reese. I will put my money up and we'll start a basketball, a WNBA franchise here in Jacksonville. If you can guarantee me Angel Reese, then I do. Also, I'll ask you this too, Ma, because you're younger than me. You like women too, like me. Can't never assume. I know you do, but I'm just making sure people know. Like, I don't like younger women. But Angel Reese is attractive. And somebody put, I want to see Angel Reese butt booty naked. Throw the picture. And then somebody put, now granted, again, it was too early in the morning for him to be tweeting like that. But somebody put up, oh, she's 21 years old. You're 40. Stop being gross. And I'm like, okay. Men, women, when is it okay? At what point is it, like, what age is it okay for me to be like, that's an attractive ass woman? That's no longer a girl. Dave Chappelle has a great bit from like before he blew up. How young is 15 really? When he was talking about R. Kelly peed on the 15-year-old girl, got here, but then he talked about the one kid was doing a wrestling move, and people were like, she's not old enough to make decisions. You don't need to go there. But a 15-year-old boy was doing wrestling moves with his younger brother, with his younger friend, accidentally killed him. They gave that kid life when he was 15 years old, charged him as an adult. Same age. You can be charged as an adult at 13. I'm not suggesting, don't you make me, I'm not Matt Gaetz out this bitch. I'm not suggesting that we go that young. But what I am saying is when you're an adult, like, why is it weird for a heterosexual male to enjoy a 21-year-old female?
It's really hate, because what happens is if you're an older male, now you can go for younger women and older women because you got money.
Mhm.
You may not have the body to compete with younger males, but you have the bank.
Little Duval said it best. I think he went too old. He said 40 is the sweet spot. I'll be honest with you. I think 35 is the sweet spot. You can go 15 years up and you can go 15 years down and you still are within range of doing whatever you want to do. Like once you get to that point, I personally don't think women are done cooking until they're 30. Like I need you to have some experience, some life lessons, gone through some heartbreak, got through all of that other shit. Cause like, you know, and then I say this and some people get mad. I'm like, but I don't, it's just my experience. Can't speak for everybody else, but I don't think some of y'all know how to use your vagina properly till you're 30. Like you over here still learning shit, and then some of y'all are too pretty. Y'all been treated the way you need to go through some especially up here. Not, I shouldn't say up here because that's my bad. In the athlete world, because again, the bad bitches of the male world are athletes and entertainers. And you see a pretty woman, and they're like, oh my God, that lovely rose petal. I do not want to blemish it. And you can't get fucked right. And that's the problem. That's a problem. Like, so she's too pretty. She ain't been fucked properly. So now you haven't had to do stuff because you were pretty and you were dating lames. It doesn't work on this level. You are going to, never mind, that's another show. And that may make you not like me because I talked about that. And I'm okay with that. Because I've realized this. Our heroes are complex. I like R. Kelly. I'm never going to stop listening to R. Kelly music. I believed he peed on that little girl when I was 18 years old when it first came out.
Yeah, what was not to believe?
But he made Feeling on Your Booty. He made Happy People and Step in the Name of Love. And those are just great songs, man. My college mixtape, my sex tape, I called it. My screw tapes is what I call them, excuse me. Was basically his 12-play album and a few other things. But like if you literally go through your life and you look at every you take away landmark achievements because of the personal lives of people, you're not going to enjoy anything in history or very few things. Jim Brown is one of those. Jim Brown is a complicated individual. I like Jim Brown. Jim Brown is a phenomenal. Jim Brown is the greatest lacrosse player to ever play lacrosse. Again, remember I was telling you, America loves a winner. He was so good that racism couldn't even win. Went to Syracuse University. They had a rule where you could not play football. They couldn't house people in the same room for football. So he went over to play lacrosse. They changed the rules in lacrosse because of him. You could ask any white person that's lacrosse, they're going to all tell you Jim Brown is the greatest lacrosse player to ever play. Was dominating lacrosse, and then the coach at Syracuse went and said, hey, y'all need to change this shit. I need this motherfucker running over people. I just running through sticks. Jim Brown went to the NFL. It was the NFL then. Completely revolutionized the game. Was the leading rusher 7 of his 9 years in the NFL. Retired at the apex of his career because I believe they told him that he couldn't act and do some other stuff, and he wanted to do movies, and he wanted to be that. So he walked away. NFL Hall of Famer. During the civil rights movement, was one of the icons and sacrificed a lot of different things to make sure that people understood that you weren't going to just look at me as a second-class citizen. Did a lot of stuff, a lot of great things. He also hit women. A lot of black people hate him toward the end of his life because he was an avid Trump supporter. I get why he was a Trump supporter. I get why some people are. I actually was talking to somebody on a political campaign and told them that they completely missed the mark by not marketing the black people in this last election. That's why they lost. Because they thought that the vote was automatically gone. And I was like, you don't know. There's literally a contingent of people who are tired of just automatically giving Democrats the vote and not having them earned it. I was like, you didn't even invite them to the table to talk. Jim Brown, much like a lot of people, again, I always tell people, if you want to read a great autobiography, Bayard Rustin, read his autobiography. He was the guy who was behind all of Martin Luther King's philosophies, the nonviolent movement, a lot of those different things. And he talks about Martin Luther King not being exactly who we thought Martin Luther King was. And what do you mean? Like Martin Luther King allegedly beat white female prostitutes. He also had a pistol. He had a lot of other different things. He was a serial adulterer. But does that take away the impact of the "I Have a Dream" speech? I have a friend, Big No, who says this. Like, we make excuses for the people that we like. And in reality, that is just not how history is. Another great person, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said he was talking to John F. Kennedy Jr., I think, one of them, and he said the quote was, "A lot of great men aren't good men." And a lot of people it's going to overlook people. That's going to go over your head. Like, sometimes to be that great, you're really not a good person.
Yeah.
Like, most great men and women are so focused on one thing, right? On that drive that you negate things. Listen to even some of your favorite musicians. Like there was one musician, like her kids hated her. She was a civil rights icon too. Like, we all look at her as great, but the kids, not shitting on MLK or anybody, but like, look at what happened to his family after he died. Great man, his family was poor. Same thing with Malcolm X. And I don't even necessarily think that's a bad thing. I tell people all the time, anything that somebody has to say about me, believe it. Just ask me, like, before you don't like me or not. Like, there are people who have a really good reason to not like me. I gave them a good reason to not like me. Or more likely I'm on the opposite side of where they stand. And I'm a terrible enemy. Phenomenal friend, terrible enemy. But when I saw people like trying to shit on Jim Brown at death, I'm like, that says a lot about you. And I'm not even talking about like in a joking manner. Like, somebody put like I guess he finally got rid of that bunion. And if you watch "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," you would understand where that joke comes from. But like, when I die, there's gonna be people who are gonna have nothing but great things to say about me. There's probably gonna be some people who say, "Man, I'm happy that motherfucker's gone." Both are right. But I tell you this though, your life is gonna be miserable if all you ever do is think about all of the bad things that people have done. You're not going to enjoy the college. You wouldn't even. America was literally, just so you know, only two countries were founded this way. America and Australia were founded by the rejects and the terrible people from other places that were considered terrible people. Wasn't just same thing like the one chick talked about Kobe in the rape trial after he died. Like, why you weren't talking about Kobe's rape when he was alive? And lastly, I'm gonna finish it up with these couple things right here if I can find this shit. Yeah. You know who are terrible people who we should talk about while they're alive, but everybody gives them a pass because of a great movie? Again, media and marketing change our perspective on a lot of things. These motherfuckers had one good movie with a Michael Jackson soundtrack, and everybody loves them. They got a theme parks basically dedicated to them, and these things are maniacal killers. And those are killer whales. AKA orcas. One, my boy Grimes says it very perfectly. Stay out the water. That's where the aliens are. They're not up there. We know more about space than we know about our own oceans. But this is what happened. And I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say it was white people that were killed. One, because it was in Europe, and we can't afford boats like that. Orcas have attacked and sunk a third boat in Europe. And experts now believe they're teaching other orcas how to do the same thing. How many people have to die before we realize orcas terrorize seals? I thought them and dolphins was cool. They torture dolphins and sharks. These people I mean, these animals don't care, and they're smart. And we all look at Shamu and Free Willy and think that they're cool, but no, they're not. They're terrorists. And I'm not just going on. I'm not messing with them, man. The two smaller, basically they were in pairs, a big orca and two little ones. There's a family of orcas out here terrorizing Spanish people or people off the Spanish coast. Then 2 days before that, 6 orcas destroyed a sailboat navigating it this strait. Assault seems to be mainly directed at sailing boats and follow a clear pattern, with orcas approaching them from the stern and strike to the rudder, then losing interest once they see that they have successfully stopped the boat. They're not even doing this for a purpose. They're bored.
They're targeting livers of sharks for something.
Just because they like to torture them. They've been doing this since 2020. They're saying they're harmless, but they're just like they throw seals in the air. Like just chuck them up in the air. They're crazy. But to bring it all back, when I see people talk about old head, when I see people talk about the Jaws, when I see people talk about the young lady a year ago at FAMU, I see old people talk about athletes these days and not exalt the guys who are like your Kalen DeLoaches of the world and stuff like that. It brings me back to this clip. And it's one of the realest clips, one of the truest clips. And it's really why people don't like why people make their comments. So anytime I see somebody say they make X amount of dollars and they're doing this, it brings me back to George Clooney and what he said to God rest the dead, the guy from Peter Parker that used to work. Peter Parker used to work for the Daily Bugle. It's also in Oz. Yeah, have you ever seen somebody do like that? I never wanted to see him in any other role. He was the head of the skinheads in the TV show on HBO Oz. He played that role so well that I just knew he was racist for real. But anyways, just play this clip, and then I want you guys to really take this on and listen to it, because how much money did somebody pay you for you to stop? How much money did it take for you to stop realizing, stop living for your dream?
You know why kids love athletes?
Oh, because they screw lingerie models.
That's why we love athletes. Kids love athletes because they follow their dreams.
Well, I can't dunk.
No, but you can cook.
What are you talking about?
Your resume says that you minored in French culinary arts. Most students, they're working the fryer at KFC. You bust tables at Il Picador to support yourself. And then you get out of college, and you come and you work here. How much did they first pay you to give up on your dreams?
27 grand a year.
And when were you going to stop and come back and do what makes you happy?
Good question.
I see guys who work at the same company for their entire lives, guys exactly like you. They clock in, they clock out, and they never have a moment of happiness. You have an opportunity. You know why kids love athletes?
Oh, because they screw lingerie.
Comes down to. And some of us, life has gotten in the way and has made you do that. But the thing is that there's 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. I think it's 168 hours total in a week, where we work 40 of those, and you may sleep another 40, but that leaves you with a bunch of other time. Don't hate on athletes because you gave up on your dream. The monetary number doesn't matter. Right. If you're doing what you love, that's what matters. Character is what matters. And just realize this is what you're teaching your kids every day. You shouldn't do this because you're making this much money. No, you shouldn't do this because you shouldn't do this. That's what it is, or it's not. Money shouldn't make you do anything. your drive and your love and wanting to be great at something. As a guy, I can tell you this, and this will probably be my theme, and it may get detracted. I don't really know how good. Again, on Friday, tell me, check it out, 5 p.m. On Twitter, on the Spaces. I've never done anything in my life that I don't like. There are aspects of it that I don't love or that I don't like as much. But if the money doesn't move or motivate me to do something, and what's crazy is I figured out a way to make money. I haven't always made money though, but eventually it pans out because you get good to it. So yeah, you may not be able to dunk a basketball. You may not be able to run through somebody's face mask. You may not have the pain tolerance for that. Maybe you were a gifted cook. Maybe you were something else. And I'm not even telling you to quit your day job to go do that shit. What I am telling you is don't mix or confuse people who are talented with them supposed to be something that you wanted to be, because it's called projecting. But on that note, man, I appreciate you guys chopping it up with me. Check out the memberships. Please subscribe. Please like this. If you do me a favor, those who are watching this, like it right now. Go out on maybe tomorrow or later on. Go back and just put a period on the algorithm. Like you don't have to type a whole comment. Just go back and make a comment, because it helps us be more, gives us more views, and it helps others see us. So that's really at the end of the day what we're trying to do. You want to help, and any of you guys, if you got passions that you need help with, as long as you're good at it, holler at me, because I will rank on you if you suck. But if you're good, you'll see how I do, like I did for Matt. I appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me, and we'll see you guys next time.